So yeah, you live in Luton, and whereabouts do you live roughly? No, you don't have to tell me like the street or anything, but whereabouts?
Biscuit Ward.
Biscuit. Oh, okay, cool. Have you lived in Luton long?
Yeah, I think it's coming up to 6 years now.
6 years. Oh, cool. But you're originally from East London.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in East London?
Shoreditch.
Shoreditch. Okay, cool. Well, we're rolling, by the way.
Okay, cool.
Let me get my hat on, because you're dressed lovely and elf-like. So I thought I have to do something
that's why
similar.
I just asked. I thought
I was dropping. To be honest with you, I was dropping the elf because like the hat's really difficult to keep on. It falls off quite a lot. So I'm getting a bit fed up with the elf. So I've been doing Santa more, or just like with a hat
I work for Alzheimer Society. We do elf, so elf is my thing.
Anyways, hello everybody. Well, let's see the hats. What did I tell you? The hat's gone already. It's staying off. I can't be bothered with it. Welcome to Luton's Deadpool podcast with me. Should we try it again?
Yeah.
Hello everybody. Welcome to the Luton's Deadpool podcast with me, Luton's Deadpool, and my special guest today, Soraya Bowen. Hello, Soraya. How are you doing?
Hi, nice to meet you. Finally, Deadpool.
Yeah, it's really good to meet you. And like you say, finally, we've been talking quite a lot on Instagram, like going back and forth on DMs and stuff. And,
exactly.
Yeah, no, you've just been a great person. I really appreciate your support throughout what I've been doing, and I've done a little bit of research into you as well, just to find out who you were, like back when I first asked you to come on the podcast, because you was kind of like a bit like, why do you want to talk to me?
I was like, okay, not that famous.
No, you don't need to be famous for people to find you interesting, right?
That is very true.
I find you really interesting. Like you was telling me, you work for the Alzheimer Society in Luton, well, in Bedfordshire, right?
Yes, I'm the community fundraiser for Alzheimer Society, so I cover all of Bedfordshire and Hertfordshire. So you can imagine that's a massive patch.
Yeah, sounds like a big job.
It's definitely a big job. You don't need me to tell you how important fundraising is, the difference that it makes for people living with and those affected by dementia. So that's family, friends, colleagues, and carers. Yeah, no,
it's awesome work that you do. I mean, I've got family members that have suffered with that in the past, and continue to suffer now as well. And it's not a nice disease that people get. It takes a lot away from families. It takes a lot away from the person, and like, between the person and their relationship as well. It's a really hard thing to go through, and to know that we've got people like you out there supporting people like that.
But most importantly, we've got people like you who do the fantastic fundraising and allows me to support people like yourself to raise the vital funds that charities that do the work that they do, because each supports many of our people that are living with dementia do end up there as well. So, yes, it's important work that we've got to keep on doing, considering the current climate that we're in.
Yeah, I know, it's hard at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely
really hard. When I went to go and visit Keach, I'm not sure, I really do need to fact check my figure that I keep putting out. I'm pretty sure it's accurate, because when I was at Keach, they told me this. They only get 30% funding from the government.
That's about right. Most hospices are not the same. It's the same for air ambulance. I think it's about 5%. Can't quote me on that, but it's a lot less. A lot of it is air ambulances are pretty much, you're looking at 90%
fundraisers.
Fundraisers.
That's
for that
crazy, isn't it?
And that's an important service. That
it is.
The life and death situation.
You would think that that's something that the government would pay like maybe 70% towards, and then there's less stress to fundraise. But no, they don't, do they? It's crazy, man. Like, I mean, I do feel like the way the world's going is that, we were used to having places that like were quite helpful, like especially coming from the government. Government was fairly helpful with charities and stuff over the years, and
the funding, there's more funding,
less and less.
Definitely more funding for community organisations to self-organise, and help people help themselves in the community. That makes sense, and I think over the years that funding has the ability, so it's a different type of fundraising where it wasn't reliant on people and collections. It was writing the bids, winning the bids, to then do the project that you needed to do. You were guaranteed a specific amount of money that you then budget for your project, whether it was 12 months, even 2 to 3 years. Then for those 3 years, you know exactly what you were doing. That's been really eroded to the point that now people are really quite dependent on voluntary funding rather than statutory, which comes from
it's like the world's moving away from like kind of being centralised in the care and like the charity kind of world. And it's looking like you say, it's going to be more like community kind of led projects in the future. What are doing the help and the
community
good work.
Will always, I think, the community will always self-organise. Maybe we've become a little bit controversial because we've seen that we've become too reliant, and then maybe we've just let things slide. But I think people always help people.
Yeah, I know, especially during hard times, right?
And we saw that during COVID.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was going to say.
COVID really brought that back, and since we've come out of, well, we haven't really come out of the pandemic per se, but the aftermath of it, I definitely think that it's there. But I think there's obviously the shock of how bad things are is what we're all sort of coming to terms with and trying to calculate what that really means for us individually, our family, and what our futures look like.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary, isn't it, when you think about just, it wasn't even that long ago. I remember when we first went into lockdown, how terrifying it was. Like, I genuinely thought most of the people on the planet were going to become extinct. I thought we was going to reduce our numbers drastically because of the way they were talking about it. And thankfully, it didn't go as bad as that. But, you know, it affected so many people on, not just on a health level, but, you know, in the capacity to work, you know, just being able to get out and see their friends, like socially, and it really affected people, and children as well, man, like out of anybody, you know, care homes as well, like so many different places that would have been really heavily affected by, you know, when maybe in, for instance, when I went to see people at Keach, they were telling me that often when family members would come and say their goodbyes, they were having to do it from outside the window. And sometimes they weren't even allowed to do that, depending on how strict the rules were.
Which is the same for people living with dementia, especially those in care homes. Either those in care homes were the ones that were mainly affected, and those that passed away, or through not being connected with their networks, people just deteriorated a lot quicker than they normally would. So but then there's also opportunity to bring back some of the good stuff that we may have forgotten about, and that's sort of checking in on everyone, being more community minded and more community focused. So hopefully there will be some good that comes out of tragedy.
No, I agree. I mean, like that's kind of been, like I was saying, well, I say to a lot of people that I kind of feel like the pandemic made Luton. Do you know what I mean? Like Luton was kind of a bit directionless before the pandemic. It was like there was a lot of good stuff going on, but you know, it wasn't like all together. I didn't feel like everybody was doing it together, and it was a concerted effort to make things better. And then the pandemic hit, and it was like we didn't have a choice but to work together to get through.
That I definitely,
you know what I mean? And it's made all of these different community places, like you know, there's so many, like the food bank. I mean, man, they've come to the forefront massively during the pandemic, and when people have been really suffering, the food bank's grown, and it's been all because of the people in the community. You know, it's not a good thing that we've got a food bank, but it's a good thing how
that people have got organisation. But we've got places that people can access, and I think even our churches have done an amazing. Like everybody has just played their part, and make sure that they could have covered as many people as possible. So I think Luton definitely, I would say, we had an amazing Facebook group. There was you just knew where to turn for information. It was not. I didn't think it was that hard during the pandemic, as pre-coming here, to find information. I thought it was you just knew what was going on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, like you say, it's kind of like we're in the aftermath a little bit of the power. I know it's still kind of going on, but it's not affecting people's lives anywhere near as much as what it did last 2 years. But coming out of that, it feels like I don't know, I feel really empowered about this town and about towns around us as well. Like, it feels like this area in itself, because I think we're quite deprived in terms of financial capability and in terms of education, and you know, we've got a lot of things that kind of hold us back. And when the pandemic hit, it hit us hard, man. Like, it hit us so hard, and it ravaged communities. And I think that, whenever you have a situation like that where there's a ton of pain, it's like the only people that rise out of that are like, it's like when the phoenix rises from the ashes, right? It's like you get a powerful beast that comes out of that pain, and someone who's able to do way more than what they would have done beforehand because they've had trauma shape their experience.
But then positively.
Yeah, it happens, doesn't it?
I still think, I think there were always good things about Luton because that's why I came here in the first place, pre-pandemic. But people came here during the pandemic, and I think that it's getting there. I still think there's work to be done. I think there's work to really focus on the good things because I think Luton as a town prior to coming just had a very bad reputation. Everyone's like, why do you want to go there for? I'm here several years later and I'm still really happy being
actually,
here.
Can we talk about that? Because obviously, I love to talk about the stuff that's going on and what you're doing and what you believe in and all that stuff. But what I really like to do in my podcast is find out a little bit about the actual person, right? Because, you don't often do that. We often talk about our ideas and our opinions, our beliefs. So you don't talk about your childhood. You don't talk about what your upbringing was like or where you're from or what made you decide to come here. And, people don't often talk about that stuff anymore. So, please enlighten me and the people who are listening and watching.
Why I came to Luton? Yeah. Because London was too expensive. I
was wanting some deep story in it.
It's not that deep, and it's whereas it was affordable at the time. I wouldn't say Luton was definitely in the top 10 places to go, but it met our criteria in terms of what we initially wanted to do. And I think by really eventually just quitting London life, so when I came up, I was made redundant, got involved in a little local charity and decided that I was not going to work and be a commuter, that I had to get a job locally. I'd always worked in community, always worked in around public health interventions in the community. One of the things that happened in my roles is always funding stops. So I thought, well, why not work in fundraising?
Okay.
And lo and behold, a job came up at Alzheimer's Society, and I got involved because I had a relative who had dementia abroad, and I actually had to access information here to send it back to a relative, so they had the information to make decisions, etc. And I found it a really easy charity to get the information. Feedback was really good. There was a local, as what you call local out here, is in that you work in the next county. Normally in London, it's just the next borough. And I thought, why not do something new and see what happens? And I'm still in the role, still really enjoying it.
That's so nice to hear. That's really nice to hear. I like how you talk about your job because it's like I can see light up about, because I know that obviously it's like you're working in a hard place, right?
It is a very hard place. I think it would have to be one of the hardest jobs I've done because all the other interventions about solving a solution, we don't quite have the cure for dementia. So there's people that I meet that have passed. It's been one of the hardest jobs to work through, especially not that I plan to work or any of us plan to work through a pandemic. And I think one of my defining moments in my role was once I was ringing around because I do fundraising and we needed to find out how people were, if they were still fundraising or considering at some point. And I remember I rang one of my supporters to see how she was. She'd just come out of hospital with her partner having COVID, but she came out and he didn't. He'd passed. So when you just don't know. And it was a conversation where it was really awkward because I was like, oh my God. And it turned out to about an hour and a half because she was actually packing these things. And it was nice to have my call, but it was really difficult. Like no one trains you for that. And I don't think no one trains you. Well, you never ever think.
How can they though?
Yeah, but it's just you just get
we've lost the mic. Don't worry, it's still on. You can just clip it back on. There you go.
Yeah, you don't get trained for that. Hard conversation. Also, while I was doing my role, I also volunteered because we've got a volunteer opportunity which is not available at the moment because I know that we're looking at it. It's called companion calling. So we still do companion calls to people living with dementia as well as their carers. So I also did that on top of my job, and I had 2 people living with dementia and 2 carers. One carer, the carers eventually departed because as things opened up, they got more support, and that was good conversation. But I just really loved the conversations with my people living with dementia. It was just really different because when you're fundraising, you're about fundraising, focusing on the money to help them, but I don't have the same contact as maybe my other colleagues that works in operations where they do the day-to-day caseload. So that was really insightful. And it was just nice. It was like I had another family that I used to check in, like my grandparents.
That sounds nice, actually.
And just learned a lot. Obviously, due to workload, I couldn't keep up with it, doing both. But it definitely gave me a different insight, and COVID just really changed, I think, all of us, because not in terms of furlough, most of the fundraisers, we were all working all the way through. It was only the sort of middle management that got furloughed.
Yeah.
The rest of us literally just worked. Yeah, we just didn't stop. And you just didn't want to stop either.
Yeah, of course, you've got no choice.
From 2 points of view, from the fact that you still want to keep your job. There's no denying that, and you still want to do what you want to do because the numbers of people affected by dementia reporting in the news.
Yeah, dying,
getting COVID, dying. You just really got to keep doing this. So it was definitely a defining moment of.
That's amazing. I mean, you really went through it to help people there, and you know what, you should really give yourself a pat on the back. And I think
it's hard. It's a hard one because when you're a fundraiser, you just keep doing what you're doing because you're keeping your head down, making sure that the money comes in so that we can do the work that we can do. We've had so much turbulence in we've had 3 prime ministers? Because we've had Boris.
Yes,
we've had 3 prime ministers.
The pandemic. We've had 3.
Yeah, we've had 3 prime ministers, and that's an interesting one where you're still trying to get policy through with regards to health and social care, which we're still at the same point.
I bet it's difficult actually for you guys. I know the Tories don't really value caring for people, really, do they? Doesn't seem to be the case. I mean, I don't want to get too political. I'm an idiot, okay? I don't know anything. No, I don't know anything about politics.
No, I
have to give a disclaimer, otherwise someone will say, my son believes everything that you said. No, I need to tell people I'm a moron. Yeah, I have opinions, but you don't have to listen to them, yeah? So I mean, for me personally, all I see them do is take, and never give. It's the same thing over and over again. And every single institution that we have that looks after people is getting hit because of them.
Well, today is the ambulance drivers striking, so that really says it all.
It does.
In terms of what's happening.
My friend used to be a paramedic, and one of the reasons why he left was because the stress of the job is so much. You can't even imagine. You go to have lunch and then you're off to another job. You never get a chance to sit down because it's just go, and then in the hospital, the ambulances are getting backed up and people are waiting. The paramedics are waiting with patients because they can't leave the patient until they've been seen, and the hospital's crazy at the moment. So, and then you're getting paid a pittance for the work that you're doing. You're getting paid an absolute pittance, and then all that seems to be happening is you're working hard, and your bills are going up. Your food costs are going up. You can't heat your house properly anymore. I mean,
it's ridiculous. It certainly has reached its peak, I believe.
I don't think it has. I think it's going to get worse. I think that they're just not done draining us dry. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
They will continue, but I think people will learn to put mechanism in. We will either have a lot more disruption and continue to see that disruption, because I think we're a little bit. Disclaimer: everything I'm saying is my own opinion. Not representative of the place I work for. I would say that there's going to be. I think sometimes, as British, we can be quite passive compared to our French counterparts who will riot and continue to do so until they're listened to. This is the first time we're seeing this level of disruption and this level of really speaking out against this. So it will.
It doesn't feel like enough though, does it? It's like
it's only the beginning.
You can hold a rally and you can you know, we
don't do enough.
Yeah, but I think it needs to be more. Do you know what I mean?
We're not as relentless as I would say our French counterparts, and what I've observed. And always, I remember that from when you were a kid. If you wanted to go on a ferry crossing, if something happened, you weren't going because they literally
they're going crazy over there. Sorry, the doors are shut. Yeah,
and that was before. They've always been like that. Whereas here, I think we've been a little bit passive.
Do you know why I think that is? Can I give you my opinion? And
go for
again,
it.
Disclaimer, blah, blah, blah. Right? So I personally think it's because when we had the French Revolution, right? I think that the monarchy in England got so scared that they really started to learn us to see how they can keep us on side. Do you know what I mean? Keep us quiet and keep us working, keep us against each other and not against them. And they worked it so well. And now you've got institutions in the media who, like, you know, they just funnel hate at us all the time, and it's always one individual or a group of individuals.
It's a distraction from what
it's never the thing that's actually wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's always like, at the moment, I see a lot of the newspapers going for Mick Lynch, the guy from RMT, you know, the ball geezer who does. They're all going for him, and they're saying about how much he makes in wages and stuff, but then they're not talking about the billionaires that are profiting on from charities at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Or like, they're not talking about all of the PP contracts that got given out.
I would more talk about those that went.
Like they pick and choose their stories, and it's to protect the people that keep them in power.
But I would also say it's a lot more. There's a lot more hate which detracts your energy, whether you are agree with it or disagree with it. I definitely think it's a distraction from the fact that we need to focus on ourselves, our communities, and especially the people that can't stand up for themselves and don't feel they have a voice. I think that's that's what my job and function is, to drive the money to enable those that are living with dementia who don't have that voice and their carers, so that we can continue to campaign, continue to deliver the services that they need to live well as look, and continue to move forward to finding a cure.
Yeah, well, I really hope they do. I mean, I've heard some things actually. There's some technology. I need to do my research for these podcasts. I'm such an idiot. I have seen that
it's a lot.
There's something coming out, isn't there?
Yes, so there has been a recent development. With a new drug, and that's really, really promising. With early diagnosis with Alzheimer's, and again, that comes from the fact that, you know, people made a very, very large and generous donation many, many years ago that has brought us to this point. But we need to continue the fundraising and continue that to move it on the next couple of years. So we are definitely moving in the right direction, but that needs funds to continue that.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope that they can find a way to come to actually curing it. Like, that would just be insane.
Well, you know, that's ultimate. That's the ultimate goal. But it's also about the fact that there are people living here and now, will be in the future, and it's making sure that
you can't forget about them. Yeah, you can't forget about them just to focus on when it's cured. There's still going to be an overlap, isn't there?
Yeah, because there's still people, and you know, that's really a key part of what we do as Alzheimer's Society. We are driven by people living with dementia. That drives and focus what you do. We've got some amazing ambassadors, and I think when we have our internal, like, Monday meetings, that's what get that reminder of meeting someone who is living well, we've supported through our services, and therefore they're giving back. And we're helping them to give back, even though they have living with dementia, to help others. So that's kind of what drives all of us, whether it's a personal or non-personal experience with the disease.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'd love to help you guys any way that I can. Obviously, we can talk about it after.
Oh yeah, we always need people raising. I'd love to help. Yeah, we always need people raising awareness, because you're looking at what, 1 in 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Of us will develop dementia, so that's really on par with cancer. But you hear more about cancer than you hear about dementia, apart from when it was really in the news.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, and since we've had that recent breakthrough, or there has been a major campaign, you don't hear about dementia so much. now as you most probably did during the pandemic.
It's weird how people pick stories to sort of highlight, isn't it? Because it's always
controlling the narrative.
Yeah, I don't know why though. Like it's like, you know, I was talking to someone the other day, and they've got a particular problem with their kidneys, and I want to have them come on the show and talk about it. I mean, you know, it's not a glamorous, if you can call a glamorous kind of disease, if you know what I mean.
It's if they have kidney disease,
it's you know, the guy's got some hard problems that he deals with that most people would find really embarrassing, and he's not embarrassed to talk about it, and it's a real problem, and I want to have him on so that then we can show people, look, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. It's okay. Like we can,
but also
be
raise
raise awareness. Yeah, exactly.
And get the diagnosis that you need to have. Which
because with this particular disease, they are making breakthroughs, but they need more money. They need more help.
Yeah,
so and if nobody talks about it, then who's going to help them?
Who's going to help? Or who would donate if you don't really hear about it or know somebody locally that's living with the condition?
Yeah. Can we just? I need to check the camera, make sure it's still working, and we're good. We are good. Actually, I need to stop. I need to make 1 second, people. Yes. Right. Sorry about that, people. I realised that guess what? I'm an idiot. Not that I've not told you all many times before.
Not at all.
No, but I am, because I was running out of space. I had to delete some things. But we're back.
We are back.
So can we talk about, because I saw something about you having something to do with the Caribbean Society?
No, so I'm part of the United Luton African Caribbean Committee.
Yeah.
So that came about through the Black Lives Matters motion.
Yeah.
Or the Black Lives Matters event that happened during COVID. And I co-chaired that with Tamar.
Tamar?
Yes.
Oh, I love Tamar.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he is. And I don't know if you're going to be chatting to him, but...
We are, yeah. We've got a podcast booked for next week.
Yeah. So I'm involved in that as a co-chair. That is just really about raising awareness and keeping that awareness around what happened, not just only with the Black Lives Matters motion, but to ensure that African and Caribbean community, the issues and things that we face are kept on the agenda, which enable us as a community to contribute and work together with everyone, as well as everyone else working together with us around the Black Lives Matters motion.
Oh, I love that.
I'm a girl about town, and I do park run volunteering and all sorts.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. So on the Black Lives Matter sort of stuff, I mean, like, I don't know if maybe I'm just ignorant to knowing where to find this sort of stuff, but in Luton, it doesn't really feel like we've got a hub for that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, a hub is in...
like somewhere where people can go to learn, like Discover Islam, for instance. Yeah, they've got a building where you can go in and...
So no, we don't necessarily...
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so no, we don't have a hub per se. We've got a motion which has been passed by Luton Borough Council in January 2021.
Yeah.
And that comes up for review every year in January. So it's just that it's beginning...
It's in its beginning stages. I would love to see a building and a place where you can hold events. You can have maybe culture nights and stuff like that.
I think we do more. So I think, obviously I wasn't here prior, but with Black History Month, we did have a really, really good program that everybody in the community could have engaged with. In terms of United Luton African Caribbean Committee, we also host every year, and next year is the 75th anniversary of Windrush at the town hall. So that is commemoration of those that have part of the Windrush generation that are alive and have passed, and that is open to all the community. So that happens on the steps of the town hall with a 2-minute silence. That involves the so we did that. So we did that this year. And then we have an event in the town hall. So save the dates, folks. January the 22nd of 2023. Everyone is invited. It's the 75th anniversary of Windrush.
Oh, wow.
And, we also have a Windrush motion that has been passed. So it's ratified by council. So there is a responsibility on the council to promote that, as well as the community doing a variety of events and education around that. And I think the reason why that's really important to us is because when that generation came to Luton all that time ago, we came here on the invite to rebuild Great Britain after the war. It was when we came to this country that is when the NHS
that's
came
when
about.
It really blew up. A lot of Caribbeans were there helping the building of that. Yeah, massively,
the building of that. You have Vauxhall here. All of that. So we've contributed a lot to the town. So it's that recognition of those that are still here, those that have passed, what has happened, and what the Windrush scandal is about is the fact that through that invitation, people didn't naturalize. So what that means is they didn't change their nationality. So whether they came from Jamaica, etc.,
they stayed as Jamaicans.
Whereas my parents have now
they're British.
They're British.
Where are your parents from?
Jamaica. So what that means is when anyone who from the Women Demonstration have naturalised means that when they go back to their country, and when I speak for Jamaica, means that if my mom can't, she's on a visa, even though she's born there, she would either have to have dual citizenship to be able to stay X amount of time. If you overstay, you get deported back.
That's crazy.
Even though that's her place of birth.
That's so crazy.
And what's happened with the Windrush scandal is that many people came over, thought they were British citizens, came here, worked, paid taxes, many of them, and then due to the changes around immigration, hostile environment, meant that many of them were either deported back to a country they weren't familiar with anymore, or their children were then deported back or threatened with deportation. Those that had jobs had to stop working, even though they've been paying their taxes, everything like everyone else, and that's why you have the Windrush compensation scheme.
Well, I'm glad they have those things set up.
But it's still difficult. It's set up, and there's still a lot of campaigning to go because so many people, especially with the cost of living crisis, are still trying to go through that. People are scared to come forward because they feel they may be with the threat of deportation, scarred by the whole thing and the trauma of the fact they've got to talk about how they've been treated.
So hold on. So people are still at risk of being deported now. Today, what's the deal?
What's the deal? I mean, it wouldn't have been this month, but a couple of months ago, yes, there was people put at risk of being deported back, and there are people living in Luton who are at risk, and it's taken them. And I know that Lorna Markland from ACCDF is doing a lot of work around not just only with the Luton Council in terms of raising awareness, doing surgery, supporting people with filling out the compensation forms so they can get the compensation
that's crazy that there's a compensation scheme out there, but people are scared to go and use it in case they get deported.
It's a trauma because
it's ongoing trauma.
It's ongoing trauma. It's been happening for a long time, and unfortunately, there's people that have died and never ever received this compensation.
Can their children get it if they've died?
I would have to send you that information so that everyone's clear, because there are.
I think people should know that. That's a really important thing.
And there is a lot of help, and there'll be a lot more things. So watch this space in the new year. With regards to where.
And again, anything I can help with, even just sharing your stuff. Or if I can come to events,
we're definitely.
I'm half Jamaican myself, right? And I like to tell people that. I think it's important, right?
Yeah, it's important.
It's really important. Like when I was growing up, this is why I tell people. I've said this a couple of times before, so sorry if I'm boring you. But the reason why I tell people is because growing up for me, there was no one big and important that looked like me who I could look towards and be like, that's my hero. Other than like maybe, I really like Will Smith when I was growing up. I really liked The Rock as well. Just, anyone light skin was kind of like, I was like, man, I want to be like you. But there wasn't that many, and there's definitely none in England that I had. Craig David is probably the closest that I could really come to. And I didn't really want to be like Craig David. No disrespect, Craig David. You're great. You're great at what you used to do, but I don't really like you anymore.
But so
it's important, right? To have like people to look up
and that's
to.
And that's why the Black Lives Matters motion is about. It's
the next generation, isn't it? That you're thinking
about.
It's
the current generation.
And the current,
It's recognizing what even the past generation has done, because maybe there are many things, I believe, great people that have come out of Luton from the African Caribbean community, because most people do not get their flowers and recognition, and we just don't want to give people their flowers when they're dead. At their funeral. We want to be giving flowers when they're...
Speed it up a bit for them.
We've got to speed it up for everybody. Give people their flowers, like you're doing this podcast. It's about giving people that opportunity. Because I thought, when you said, why do you want to talk to me for? I just, little story girl about Tar doing my little thing.
But then I know you thought about it and you realised, like, I think you understood what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, because I thought, is he really serious?
I think I had to crack out a few episodes for you to go, actually, all right.
I haven't watched the episode, but
have you not watched any episodes yet? Oh, God damn it. No,
I didn't.
Don't worry about it.
I haven't. I was like, I just want to go, because when you start watching what other people, it kind of even makes me more nervous. No, this is my episode. I'm going to do my thing. This is who I am, what I do. This is what I like, what I'm passionate about, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, like, by doing this, there's going to be little girls. This is what I say to everybody who comes on, right? And this is what my message is to people about using your voice and how important your voice is, right? Is because, like the story of me when I'm a kid and I had no heroes that I could really like relate to. I needed to see people that look like me.
And that is really important, because the sector I'm in, which is the charity sector, is very white and very middle class.
Yeah.
That is just a fact. In fact, I'm one of 2 community fundraisers in a nationwide organisation, and you don't see many black fundraisers yet. You go into the African Caribbean community, very giving, fundraising and supporting, but we don't work or see us in even local or national charities. So it is important for me to show people that you can do a career out of this, and that do a job, and I do get paid to dress like this.
You look like you love it. You look like you love it. I mean, do you feel like the barriers getting in are a lack of awareness being shown to people that this is something you can do? Or do you think it's an actual barrier, like somebody, like a gatekeeper, stopping you from getting in? Like, do you know what I'm saying?
I think it's both. I think it's not. It's weird because, like I said, community is everything in our community. You can get help, and people care for you, and they will do it voluntarily without even being seen it as a career to be paid. It's somehow not seen as prestigious as being a doctor or a lawyer. And maybe to a certain degree, there is that gatekeeping on the other side as well, because it's also about organisational equality, diversity, inclusion. You looking at your workforce and making sure they're representative of the community that you serve,
definitely,
or communities that you are also underserving, because everybody's affected by dementia. It's not just one type of people. Everybody's affected, so you do need to have
you should have people working in there who are representative. I agree, definitely.
And I just think people don't see it as a career to be. Maybe they look at the pay and things like that and think, but there's so many different aspects to fundraising. There's so many different aspects to the charity sector. I think there are the issues around, and this covers all organisations, I believe, public sector, charity and corporate sector, around the lack of representation at senior level, which is what the Black Lives Matters motion looks to address, in terms of representation of us at senior level within the council and within our local employer like Luton Airport, or Luton Rising, as it's now called.
Oh yeah.
So it's that bigger issue of, yes, you can have a career in fundraising. No, you don't need to dress like an elf to get by.
It helps, though.
It helps. It definitely helps, and you only do it once a year. So yeah, there is definitely something about representation within the charitable sector. I think in general at senior level, I think the charity sector definitely appeals to women because a lot of women do work.
Yeah, a lot of women, kind, caring, you know,
it's that's not just kind of caring. I think it's also because of the flexibility.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
the flexibility of, you can work part-time and around family with a lot less hassle, as opposed to maybe working in the private sector.
Yeah.
But still, seeing us in the charitable sector, seeing us in senior level, is definitely, the representation is definitely not there, and definitely not in fundraising.
Yeah.
I don't know that many black fundraisers.
Yeah. Well, I know quite a few. I guess I work with like so many different
charities.
Groups. Yeah, but
I don't get to see as many.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe you just don't get to see it as much. But you know, I see it a lot, and I think that maybe the bigger problem is like letting people know. Like you hit the nail on the head. Is that, like, you know, yeah, maybe the money's not great, but you know what? It's not about money in life. Like I've learned this more than I care to talk about anymore, because I talk about it all the time. But you know, I was earning a really good wage, and then when I gave it up and done a job that I earned nothing from whatsoever, you know, this is where I'm happy. I'm actually doing something. Like I feel like I'm impacting my community, and I'm making people's lives even a tiny bit better, and that might make them have a better day, and then impact the rest of their day.
I think there's different ways. It's the whole way that we're most probably all raised, that you need to have these high-powered jobs, and let's not get it twisted. Money is a great tool; it can get you to do things. But one thing that COVID and other things have shown is that not everyone is as happy as they would have possibly.
I think we're going back to like our natural instincts of how people are, right? And the way that people are is, we like to be outside, right? We don't do that enough anymore. We like to be outside. We like to be with our family. We like to be with our friends. We like to be part of a community.
Yeah, we definitely like to be part of a community.
And we like to have a goal, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what humans are like. And we're getting back to that, I feel like. And, you know, it's like the way
it is, because the way we work, now that we've got hybrid working, where I think hybrid working was most probably done by very senior CEOs, and everyone that sits at the top of the food chain, whether it was public, private, charity sector. COVID came and we all had to transfer everything at literally lightning speed with zero notice. And actually, many organizations, including my job, was very much not about working from home. It was about working from an office. If you work from home, it was when you were traveling to and from events, and everything happened at home. People found online, digital fundraising, and all of a sudden we're working from home. That's not to say that it works for everybody.
Yeah.
I do think there needs to be a balance.
Yeah, definitely.
For some around working from somewhere.
Do you know what I think would be ideal, right? It's like 2 to 3 days in an office and the rest at home.
I think
two days working at home, for instance, or 3 days working at home.
I think some places are, yes. I think some places have got to that.
Yeah.
I know I'm fully remote, which suits me just fine. I mean,
do you miss being in the office? Oh.
Yes and no, because I think our organisation, Alzheimer Society, really did the transition really well.
Yeah.
In that, and our managers, depending on which team you work in, I talk and communicate and see my colleagues more often virtually than I would in the office, because of the patch that I cover. So we're the Central Wales team, so we've got some fundraisers as part of our team that's in Wales, as far as Norfolk, Suffolk, and up to Staffordshire. So to be in the office and see all of my team wouldn't necessarily work anyway.
Yeah.
But I would say that I'm seeing those members of the team more often because
but just virtually,
because we have that whole virtual aspect. I think what I have done with working from home is I work compressed hours now, so that means I get more time off a month.
Good. Yeah.
I make sure I try and get out as much as possible.
Yeah.
I also can have other venues that I work from, so I don't just work from home. I would work from a venue just like I would work from an office, so I see people and I'm out.
Yeah,
so
that's good. That's good.
It's definitely a work in progress because you can work from home and then you don't go out, so you just kind of wake up.
Yeah, that's a drag. That's
and then there's no separation from work and home.
Do you know, I was talking to a friend of mine, Hanan, right, the other day. We was at the mayor's dinner. We was having a little chat with two other gentlemen from Grace Lane Solicitors. And they were talking about the whole working from home thing and how it can be a problem. You don't get much done if you don't really feel like you're at work, and it's hard to get yourself motivated and stuff. And what Hanan said is a really good idea. He said he sometimes will take a commute to work in the morning, right? Yeah. So he will leave his house and he'll go for a little walk somewhere.
The fake commute.
And then he'll come home and then he starts work, and it's like his mind just resets as if he's in the office.
Because we're all different. I just think it gives everyone an opportunity to do what they need to do. For me, working from home, like I said, but I know for some of the younger members of the team who lived in shared accommodation where they don't have a separate space, where they can work from like the dining room or living room or somewhere else, everything's in their room.
Yeah, that's a lot harder.
That can be. I think working from home also, and I say our workplace, I always keep talking about how good it's been, is talking about the fact that for people where domestic violence, etc., that can be difficult in those instances. So we do have to recognise that it's not the same for everybody as well. I think that's got highlighted a bit as well, because sometimes for some people, coming to the office is that escape.
Yeah, definitely.
From home life.
It was like during the pandemic with kids, like going to school is their escape sometimes from that world. And it's super necessary to have a place to go. And that's what I talk about, people sort of needing them spaces more so now than ever before, because the world's changed. People aren't in offices mixing all the time anymore, or like just the way that work life looks.
That's different from London. And I certainly, even pre-pandemic, where I used to live before, there were a lot more freelancers, so there were a lot more co-working spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Here, there's only Hatworks, which you have to be a member of. Whereas for someone like me, I don't need somewhere like necessarily the Hatworks, but I need somewhere where I can drop in and work from. And I think
this is a great place.
So
how great is this place? Let's give a little big up to the Barrels. Actually,
yes, this is where my running club comes for their socials.
Oh, really?
Once a month, yeah.
This is a great pub. It really is. It's had a bit of a checkered past. I've grown up here.
No, my local is Biscuit Mill, so I've worked from there.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
But yeah, really I mean, for me, this is the top. It beats everywhere. You can see for a sports bar. Look, we've got a TV right there. There's TVs absolutely everywhere. So if you come down for sports, it's absolutely perfect.
Well, I just think I like Luton because when you're a Londoner, all pubs are turned into like high spec, expensive flats.
No, this is wine bars. This is a like proper. Out here you have this is a proper pub. Old pub. Yeah.
You have real pubs out here.
It's great, but then you still got the restaurant-y kind of feel as well. If you want to come here and get a meal,
just relax without dressing up.
Let me tell you this: their chips are to die for.
Okay, I will definitely put this on my list of places.
I promise you, their chips are heavenly.
Oh well, then this one, folks.
Yeah,
we're holding. He has a disclaimer for everything, but no disclaimer
here. Incredible.
I'll let you know.
It's genuinely incredible. Sean, the owner, he's not here right now. He's nipped off somewhere, but he normally pops in, says hello and stuff. But he gives me some chips every now and then, and they're
no, I love out here. Definitely one thing different from London. Real pubs.
Yeah,
and there's many to pick.
Have you been to like many restaurants and stuff around?
Yeah, well, out and about, yeah.
In Luton, yeah?
In Luton. Where have I been in Luton? I've been to the Indian tapas in Bushmead. That's my favourite.
Oh my God, tapas Luton. Boom.
Sorry.
insane.
Wigmore fish. That's my
yeah, that's great.
That's
fish
my
and chips
chip
at
shop.
Wigmore's great. Yeah,
I've been to Papa J's.
yeah. Oh, it's
kind
beautiful.
of. It needs after going.
Have you been Baltistan?
No.
Oh, Baltistan's nice. That's nice. That's really nice. That's the shop at the road from here as well.
Is that the new Turkish restaurant?
No. It's been there for ages, man. You know, do you know where Chicken George was?
Yeah, Chicken George has left us, but it's in Bedfordshire now, and it's in
Do you know what? I'm doing a food challenge to sort of get people over Chicken George, because Chicken George was great, yeah. But do you know what? There are so many great places to eat in Luton. Like, you know, we were so bothered about Chicken George that you forgot about that there's these little nice Turkish spots or Lebanese spots. So there's a great Afghan spot in town. Like,
where? Because after Desert Rose, which I wanted to visit after the pandemic, it closed.
Oh, is that closed now?
Yeah, Desert Rose is closed.
Man,
if I'm not mistaken. But the one, because there's an engine. I'm sure
the engine. Oh, the engine's great.
Have you been?
Oh my god, the food in the engine's great as well. Seriously, there's so many great places in Luton to go, and I discovered.
I like the indoor market. I think the indoor market is underrated.
Massively,
I don't know why they. I don't understand.
They don't sell it more, do they? It's such a great
you can eat
spot. Any kind of food, man. Yeah. And then the shops there as well. You can get anything. You can literally get anything
To me, that's equivalent of like when you go to Dalston, Hackney, Wrigley Road Market under one roof. But if you're talking about food, then I really think bigger promotion and big up to the indoor markets.
Maybe I should start working with them. Maybe I should do something with them.
Because I think it's totally all the restaurants outside, you know, in the mall.
You get real food from real families. Do you know what I mean?
And what's the one that's upstairs in the mall? That's quite good.
By
upstairs
by JJ? No, not JJ. It's not JJ.
It's Sports Direct.
Yeah, next to
and then you got Robbie's.
Greenfields.
Then you got Robbie's.
That
does just nice good, decent.
Yeah. Hardware Calf in is it the Hardware Calf? Yeah, I think it's the Hardware Calf. I'm pretty sure it's the Hardware Calf near Matalan.
Then there's Benjamin's. Definitely.
We've got some great calves, great H&H as well.
Where's that?
Oh, that's by Eaton Green. You know where you know by Asda.
Yeah.
In Stopsy. It's just by there. But that's another good spot.
Well, then I'll just.
There's so many to go to.
Well, then you definitely.
Well, watch this space here because I'm going to do a food challenge, right? Where I'm going to invite a ton of these people to come and basically be judged on their best dish, right? So they're going to bring their best dish. I've got myself, couple more judges. I don't know if I'm actually allowed to say their names.
Well, no, I keep podcast. I've got
like 3 other judges lined up to do this with me. I've got a venue as well.
Luton is a really amazing town.
Yeah, well, you'll see on my food challenge. I'm gonna be showcasing each one. So even whoever wins is, they're gonna get crowned the food champ, right, of Luton. And I'm going to showcase each one of the dishes. So I'll be taking pictures for Instagram and so everyone's going to get a big up and you're going to see what their food looks like. So there will be something there for everybody. And hopefully we can make Luton this food hub, because I went on to Google Maps the other day and I just typed in restaurants, and I let it show me in Luton. Oh my gosh. The amount of red dots that show restaurants, and then you zoom in and there's even more. It's actually crazy. You should do it. Just have a look for yourself.
So it's more independence. I'm not talking about
4.5 star plus. Do you know what I mean?
Because I'm more interested in independence, not so much the others.
Oh, there's a good one in the market called Thai Bites. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah,
I most probably haven't tried.
Yeah. Oh, there's a good. I don't know what you feel about vegan food, right?
Yeah, I do. I do the Monstera. Yeah, Monstera. Yeah.
Banging. Oi, big up Monstera Calf. I've been in there once. He doesn't know because I wasn't in this stuff. And I didn't say anything, but I've gone in there since like this, and he said he's going to come on the podcast and he's going to do the food competition.
No, so, I definitely...
Yeah, he could be a winner because he's really good.
But there's another vegan calf, but I still think he wins hands down. That's the one near Checkers Pub.
Oh, yeah?
I've been to that one.
What is that one called? Is that veggie something?
No, it's vegan.
No, but is it called veggie something? I think it's called veggie or something.
No, it isn't. No, it's called tree something. We just went there randomly.
I'll have to have a look.
But his menu is not as comprehensive.
Yeah.
Like my niece loves his hot chocolate with whipped cream, with marshmallows. That's her favourite treat when she comes to Luton.
That's awesome.
So it definitely works when you've got a lactose intolerance.
Yeah, right.
Her niece, not that she's not vegan.
Oh, do you know what? I'm lactose intolerant as well, right? I really should pay attention to it, but do you know, all I do is I'll just plan a day. So if I want to have a pizza, for instance, I just book the next day off, so I can just be ill in bed for the whole day.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to do it, but I think I just think there's room in Luton, and there definitely needs to be more promotion of events.
Yep.
So I've been to a lot here. I'm really sad about Little Red Arts. That's gone.
I've heard of this. Yeah, I've heard of this.
That's gone. I'm really sad about that. I do like the Hat Factory.
They're great. They've
been to a number of events there.
We've been to Cole's Drink and Draw.
No, this.
No,
honestly,
okay. So I need to go to it. It's on the last Thursday of each month.
I know. No,
yeah,
it's the first. No, it's the first Thursday.
Is it the first Thursday? See, I don't even know when it is. Sorry, Carl.
No,
Carl, I'm going to get Carl on the podcast as well.
It's the first. It's the first because I always miss it because it's work or something.
I'd love to have a drink and draw. That just sounds amazing. Every time it's on, I'm doing something. It's so frustrating, but I'm going to get down there.
The fact that Bear Club is no longer closing.
Oh, it is? Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to say it is closing.
No, it's no longer. It's going to be back in February, and I brought some friends up from St Albans, and they were really shocked that we had a venue like that in.
It's so cool, isn't it? Where it is and everything, like
interiors.
It feels like Gotham City or something. Like the location, it's just like dark and gritty, and like I love it. I love it so much. It's
the talent. I've been there once. I know there's other friends that have been there more than I have. We've got some gems, and we need to know the food places so I can bring friends.
I should go and do like a live or something like this. Just go and sit in the crowd and watch something like this. I've never gone like this. I really should. It's a good spot. Yeah.
But it just shows you there's good things for a town. I mean, I'm from London. London's a massive place. We've got lots of things.
You can do loads of things,
But I think there's lots of things out here, but Luton's definitely...
Do you know why it's special for me? Why? It's because it's so much smaller. Do you know what I mean? Because we all know each other. And I love that so much. It makes me so happy, like, to know that, you know, I'll be in town doing my collecting, and I always see someone that I know, no matter what. There's never been a day I haven't.
Yeah, that's what I like about
it. Do you know what? Like, I've lived in other places. Like, I lived in Birmingham for a bit. I lived in London for not massively long, but I lived there for a little bit. And I never had that. I never had a day where, like, and I knew people around the area, but like I just
London, no,
never ever found myself
born and bred there, but people have moved on, and it's very transient. But nothing like here. I've got really good neighbours. Yeah, like up to the other day, one of my neighbours, his mum, I haven't seen her for ages. My Muslim neighbours, and she called us over. I was like, oh, I wonder what's wrong because we just haven't seen her for ages, and she gave us like a box of biscuits.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Just nice things that I've never... Yeah, there's just nice things and nice little things that you do as little communities, not just in Luton, but even across my job with the fundraising, people doing like Christmas lights, and then you're raising money for charity.
We're all about that in Bedfordshire. Beds and Hearts, we're all about that.
The one that I've never come across, or I don't know why I can't recall it from a child, is you have the... they do it as a fundraiser, and it's through your... Lions Club, and you do
Luton Lions,
not necessarily Luton Lions, but you just I've noticed there's a fundraiser where they do Santa's sleigh. It goes up different streets, and I was just like,
Smiley Sam. Yeah, let's talk about Smiley Sam. So I do Smiley Sam. I go and do the volunteer. You can volunteer, you know. It's super easy. All you have to do is I can give you the contact details. There's still time. You can come by to one. We're doing one on Christmas Eve, and it's starting right over there.
Oh, I'm not up.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. But next year you can sign up or whatever. But it's the funniest thing. That's the reason why I do what I do for Keach. Because when I was a little boy, I had a very traumatic upbringing. You know, I don't want to go into it, but you know, I had bad time when I was growing up, and that Santa train was one of the very, very few bright spots in my childhood where. Every year I was so excited because I couldn't believe magic was real and Santa was here, and I wanted to do more as an adult because of that, because I would be like, you know, what I felt that day, I want to make other kids feel like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think during COVID, when they could, or post, during when there was different restrictions, And I've just noticed when I've seen the feedback, I was like, you really do things like that out here?
Yeah, we do. We do. And
like,
we all mean really... it. When it's not for a gimmick, it's not for fame.
But it's not that, it's just organised by local people. Yeah. I'm just like, that takes time and effort to do that.
And do you know what? Each one of the people has a great story behind why they come to help as well. It's never just like we're all disconnected and doing it to get a reward or something. Everybody's doing it because they know how important it is.
Yeah, I just think it's amazing that they have the list of streets that they go up. It's a whole coordinated.
If you ever actually see it live, it is unbelievable. The music's so loud, and everybody comes out of the house. Everybody comes out of the house to throw money in the bucket, take pictures with Santa. The kids go bananas. It's amazing.
Up here, you've got the Disney house. I've not been to it.
Oh yeah.
That does the Christmas lights.
Yeah, it does all the mad Christmas lights. Yeah,
it's like, who needs to go to West End?
You don't need to. You don't need. You only Winter Wonderland. We've got Luton, man. It's fine.
You don't actually need it when you're up here. It's just it is.
Do you know what I'd really like to see? I'd like them during Christmas time to start putting an ice rink in St George's Square.
Yeah,
that square. Yeah. They could put an ice rink there during Christmas. How lovely would that be?
Yeah, because they've done that in Stevenage, where the bus station used to be.
I'm gonna have some words with Luton Bid and some people like that, and see if we can do that. That would be incredible.
I just think we've got so much to offer, and we've had so many different type of community festivals here. It's almost like on par with London, but just a lot smaller.
Yeah, exactly.
Which has been really, really good. And again, like when I tell other people that we have all these things, they're like, really? And
they don't believe because they've heard the headlines.
Yeah.
It's like, King Charles came to town. The only thing that anybody cared about was a bloody egg. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing anyone cared about. But I was there, and whatever happened with the egg throwing incident, I didn't see it. I mean, my theory is that as the guy threw the egg, a sniper hit the egg, in midair, and then hit the guy, and then someone just came and took him, right? And nobody knew. Nobody knew.
Just nothing ever surprises you, because the amount of checking that most probably went on pre.
Yeah. Oh, it was so funny. When I was there, I saw people in the windows, and the mall security staff were saying to me, "There's guys with binoculars on the. Oh, look up there. There's guys with snipers on you." And like it was pretty crazy.
I can absolutely.
Yeah, I think I was a security risk. I'm not sure.
But, all I can say is that town. When I went into town afterwards, I said that's the cleanest that I've seen, and I just wish it would.
I know. Well, like that. I've been having words with people about that sort of thing, and I think that was the kind of wake up call that we can't let it get that bad again. There've been parts of the town where there were like bushes overhanging and stuff, and just hadn't been tended to. And
I've never understood that since I first come here, why there's no pride in the town centre. You've got a train station, so that's the first thing everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like Hitchin's train station is
it's
not
just out of the way a little bit. Yeah.
You've got a train station, so people come off. This is what they see, and it's kind of embarrassing. You're going to be inviting people, and it just looks like I pay taxes. Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on. I mean, there's obviously responsibility on people to take a pride.
Yeah, people have to actually do it themselves. Yeah.
But but generally, if it's taken King Charles to come here to give us a wake-up call, so be it.
I'm down. Yeah, I'm happy. I don't care what it takes to wake people up, just as long as they're awake.
I think they need to take... Yeah, we just need that bit more, because it's not the prettiest, but when it is, people will come. Once we know what the good hot spots to eat, which you'll let us know,
I'm going to do that.
Then that's it.
Well, this is our job, as people that live here. We
be ambassadors of your town.
The ambassadors. We have to be the beacons. We have to be the foghorns that are shouting out to the whole world, look, this is us. We are here, and we are flipping amazing.
And that is very true.
Should we end on that? I think that's really good to end on, isn't it?
Yes, indeed.
What do you think? Great.
Yeah.
What can I say? This has been a really fun chat. It really has, and it's been like just so thought-provoking. There's things that I came into this not knowing, and you taught me through just talking to me, and I treasure you, and I really thank you for taking your time. Thank you very much
for the invite, because I was like, not me. The only time I go on radio is for specific things for work.
Yeah.
It's about 5 minutes. Nobody sees me.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, if you're going to have your costume, I'm going to have mine. But you're still going to know what my face looks like. About time, most probably remember me.
Yeah,
that girl with the elf.
No, people should know who you are, and I'm glad that you came on. And like I say, I hope there's going to be people out there who are going to think, I want to be more like Soraya. Sorry.
Yes, that will. More people like me, that could be a dangerous thing. It'll be a good thing. It'll be a good thing. It'll be a good thing. We'll see a lot more change.
Yeah, exactly.
And moving things in a positive and right direction. So,
wicked. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Let's have another one in the future to catch up again. And hopefully on the next one, we'll have some things to tell people what we're going to do together.
Exactly.
That'd be awesome. All right, thank you very much, everybody. Love you, Luton. Bye. Bye. Oh, well done.
I'll get my
well
upper
done.
half.
Yes, of course.